T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So yeah, I mean, that's what I was just saying. We're just hanging out, kicking it, and we'll have a good time. We'll just, enjoy ourselves. We'll look at chat. Chat is always awesome. They're always interacting with us, but we'll get going here. Yeah, we'll have a good. What are you smoking on today, though?
Actually, this is an auto. It's a wedding glue auto.
Really? Dude,
have you ever tried autos?
No. Let me.
You gotta give it a try.
Totally, dude. I want to try that. I'll try it before we get going here. That's pretty good. Do you grow this one yourself?
Absolutely. Everybody always gives autos a bad time, but I think if you get a good auto strain, it's got a nice smooth smoke.
I know. I'm almost just gonna keep this to myself over here, but
go for it. That was just
oh, I'm gonna be extra buzzed now.
I'll be honest, that countdown always gives me anxiety. Why does your countdown start at 60 seconds? That's a whole minute of just anxiety building up.
Well, here, I'll pass this back to you and we'll kill that anxiety.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. Oh shoot, you know what? We're actually we're live right now. We're doing it live. We should probably play the intro. Yeah, whoops.
Nice.
What's up, everybody? we're live. In case you did not know already, we are live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We are hanging out with GreenzGoddess, smoking some joints. How you doing?
Great, dude. I cannot believe you surprised me so bad the other day when I saw you over at the Dude Grows Cup. Well, first of all, I saw your sticker and I said to myself, that's weird. There must be a huge Westport fan out here. He gets around. Maybe one of his friends brought his stickers and dumped them everywhere. Next thing I know, I see you walk by and I was like, no freaking way. He made it all the way out here. I can't believe it. I ran over to say hello.
And I'm so glad you did. I am so stoked. Completely did not anticipate that. We have talked so many times, but I never really placed where people live. I'm just like, they're out there. They're out there somewhere. And so, yeah, getting to see you there was freaking awesome. So I'm glad we got to connect there, and we get to connect again today. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that J with me. That was pretty nice. That was good.
That's a pretty good auto, huh?
That is. I took the super, I went for the home run hit on that. Oh. I swung big and I came out coughing, but cough till you get off, right?
No. I guess I've never heard that
Right? No. So in the realm of profound things, we always, this is called the Best Grow Show, and you can't really just call yourself the Best Grow Show. So I go out, I talk to things, I talk to inanimate objects, but this week it was 9 out of 10 volcanoes agreed that this was the Best Grow Show. And I didn't personally take the survey. It was Julie, it was GreenzGoddess. She's been around some volcanoes lately, but I do have 2 profound things to share with you in lieu of that. So
Okay.
One, Ewoks are just homeless Care Bears who fell on hard times and maybe some substance abuse. But I still love the Ewoks.
Oh yeah.
Still love them just the same. But that's a long fall from a Care Bear, but it happens. And then 2, and this one forever changed my life and how I view certain things. I think Kendrick Lamar and Drake are probably the most recent example of like a rat beef. Until it was pointed out to me that rat beefs are really just 2 angry people writing poems to each other.
Oh.
Which makes it sound a little weird, but
a little poetic and
right?
romantic, kind of.
Yeah. So that forever changed my outlook on rat beefs. It's a romantic thing. They're writing each other poems, people. Come on.
If you're going to be spending your time, your money, your energy, your creativity talking crap about somebody else, you must have some sort of high level of, I don't know, it's not respect, but something about that person that you must admire so much that it just pisses you off so badly deep down inside.
Yeah, you know what? There are such things as good rivalries. And that, that plays itself out, whether it's really with somebody else or just other people in general. Like, I'm competitive, but not against like individual. Like, it's against myself. If I don't do something to the best of my ability, I kind of feel it. And I mean, that goes for growing too. Like, there are times in the garden where I may not be giving it 100%, and the plants kind of look like I don't give it 100%. And then that kind of makes me not like 100%. But, I mean, what is like your biggest like moment of joy in the garden? Like, if there is one time, because that is the moment that brings you back to 100%.
When somebody else tells you that you have tasty weed.
Yes.
If somebody else is smoking your weed and they're like, damn, that's really good, and they come back for more, then that's to me is like the biggest accomplishment. It doesn't necessarily matter the size of the plant. It really matters like the end product. And if your end product is looking fire and it's smoking really nice and it tastes really good, and other people are appreciating it, because I'm my own worst critic. I don't think I could grow anything well. Oh, actually, let me tell you a story. I'm my own worst critic. I don't think that I grow the best stuff. I really don't. And I get high off my own supply. I'm not buying from anywhere else or any dispensaries, right? We go to take this trip. Me and my whole family were going to Hawaii for like a week. And, I wanted to bring my own personal weed. So I tried sneaking it on the plane. They wouldn't let me. They found it. They made me throw it in the garbage. I get to Hawaii and I'm with my family. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to get high so that way I could just be chill and cool and relax and have a good time.
Right.
Too stressed out or overwhelmed. You know what I mean? So I love getting high. And so I said, we could just go to any dispensary in Hawaii because it's legal. Only medical marijuana is legal in Hawaii, not recreational. So as a visitor, I went into the shop and I asked the guy, and he said, oh, sorry, you're from out of state. We can't sell it to you because you need to be a medical patient. Oh, darn. So I'm waiting outside with my husband and my brother, and we're like, shoot, what are we going to do now? The guy comes outside. He's pretending to like wash a window from the store. And he says, oh, go to that corner and meet a guy. I'm not going to tell you his name, but meet this guy. He looks like this. He rides that. And so I'm like, okay, I go out to the corner. I'm telling my brother and my husband, like, I have no clue where I'm going to find this guy. He rolls right up next to us. I'm like, that's him. So we bought some of his weed, and yes, it did get me high, but it wasn't like the best weed. Like, mine is 10 times better than what I got from this guy. Very expensive, by the way, of course. But
it's the tourist tax. It's like, you're happy to get some, so you're gonna pay whatever price I say.
Exactly. Yeah. Did I get high? Yes. Was I chill, having a good time with my family? Absolutely. But now that I come back home and I'm looking at my stuff and I'm like, my stuff is really good, and I gotta stop being so hard on myself all the time. because growing is like, it takes so much time before you realize you fucked up on something. And every growth cycle is as if something had to go wrong in order for you to learn how to do better the next
Yeah.
growth cycle.
Yeah, exactly. You have to learn from your mistakes, but each cycle, I mean, gee whiz, it doesn't, there's not too many you could fit in the air. That's a really good point. Do you take notes? Do you do any like journaling, or how do you kind of keep track of your errors?
Here.
Yep.
I used to take a lot of notes, but now I know by just looking. I guess you're right. I probably should write some things down, but I remember things that happened last year with the hemp garden that I'm going to do differently this year. So, or I already have done differently.
Good. Well, I definitely want to talk about that. I mean, there's a lot that I want to talk about that we can talk about. You know, you have the website livingeuphoric.com, which is a lot of hemp products. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, you know, because I've seen you do indoor, I've seen you do outdoor. I want to hear what you're doing now, and maybe if things have changed. You do a lot of KNF stuff. You do a lot of like secret squirrel, just awesome organic goodness, which I enjoy talking about. And I think a lot of people love listening to. And, you know, like you said, you know, big plants, small plants, whatever it is, it's the results that count. And getting out, going to different places helps. That's why I was really excited to get to Colorado, go to the DGC Cup to try all of the samples, because we live in our own bubbles. Now, we know what we think is good, and we've had good stuff from other people that we respect. So there is somewhat of a bar, but you are your own toughest critic. You got to get out there. You got to try other stuff to see where you measure up. It's kind of crazy, but
meet new friends, meet old friends.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you keep showing up to these events, you'll tend to run into the same people.
Yeah.
Plus, you've been doing a lot lately since the last time I heard from you. You got, I saw a lot of stuff going on with your discount codes. Like, dang, how did you get connected with all these people? You got your own show now. You're not even on, can we mention it, FCP anymore?
Absolutely, yeah. Future Cannabis Project, because that's where we really kind of picked up and met. It was in the chat, and it was pre Brian and Marco era. It was Brian and Leighton. I'm trying to think of the name of the show, but they had a name, the show. But anyways, it was all just kind of like organic gardening, you know, and Future Cannabis was where a lot of us just hung out and conversated. And it's cool because we met, you know, people like each other, which is nice. Because, you know, a lot of if you were there then and you're still here now, it's because you had a passion for it and you stuck with it. And those are like the funnest people to know.
Too. Like in chat, we met a lot of friends who were like very encouraging and motivating. And like some of us would ask questions. Some other people would like have the answers. So it's like we were able to develop this community, first starting in chat, then you follow it up on like social media, then an event pops up where like everyone wants to go to, and you let all your friends know, hey, I'm going to be there. I hope to see you. And then you go to the event and you're meeting all these people in person. And that's where the fun part happens.
Yeah. That was, you know, I can't. Yeah. So things are afoot. But I can say that it was so fun. It was so refreshing. Like that was the just like best thing. Everybody was excited to be there. Everybody was excited to talk to others. Everybody was wanting to talk grow. Positivity reigned throughout the day. Toxic positivity, as Cheddar Bob would say, man. It was freaking fantastic. And I got a lot of, you know, meet a lot of people out there. I see Untrained Astronaut in chat right now. He was out there. He's making some pretty good documentary videos, I guess, recap videos of the DGC Cup. Like if you didn't go, or if you did go and you didn't see those videos, go check them out on Untrained Astronaut's channel.
Check them out.
Yeah, dude, fantastic photography.
So.
Okay.
I didn't really get to mingle as much as I wanted to because I was like working the whole time. But it was really awesome to be a bud tender and meet a lot of people. I ran into some friends that I've known from before, but it was really cool to. Everybody would have like their totally different favorites. Like one guy would absolutely love gas, hated everything, wanted gas. Then the person right next to them would be like more of the fruitier stuff, like my kind of people. And then hates gas, hates funky smells, and then the person obsessed loves funky smells. Like the more
Yep.
grosser it smells, that's what they love. And you're like, what? It's really weird.
That's always, yeah, that's the interesting things about cups sometimes though, is because it really, when you have limited judges, let's say you have 5 to 10 judges, it's like, what is their palate? Like, is their palate gas? Because then the gas is probably going to win. And the most like phenomenal Tangy, which is a love or hate strain, I fall in the love category, but that's not going to win in a gas lover's forum. So having, you know, a lot of judges, I think helps too, because that's interesting to hear. There really are a lot of people's like number ones.
Mm-hmm. I love the fact that at the Dude Grows Cup, I don't know how many cups are doing this, but I feel like more cups should. Everyone who is a participant got tickets to get inside the cup should be able to walk around, smell all the different varieties, look at all the different varieties, and have a sample. It's just a couple of puffs to have a sample. And then you got to vote. This recent year, people got, what, 5 tokens? Hey, what's up?
Yep.
So
Ty was another one of those people there.
Oh, yeah. Living Soil Conversations. That was the name of the show on FCP. That was a good one because we would talk about anything growing. But, you know, I'm not a big fan of cups where it's just like you said, just a couple of judges and they're possibly smoking it all in a day, and they might have their certain preferences that they like. So is that fair? I think the most fairest thing was to let everybody who showed up give it a try. Let everybody decide, you know.
Yep. That's a lot of work though. That's a lot of work, but they pulled it off.
You get so high. You get really high, like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
There were some warriors at the end of the day that were just like wearing it on their face, like, I tried every one.
I've seen them. They've circled. They will circle like again 4 times, and I'm like, "You're back for more?" They're like, "Hell yeah, I'm having a good time." And you're like, "Okay, here. Which one haven't you tried?" I tried them all.
Yeah. I still kept a few tokens. I still have some tokens, so that's fine. I actually did I bring it in here? I went and met up with JR Token not too long after I got back from that, and dude, I got some just awesome stuff here from him. It's the Paloma times the peanut butter pie. I know it's weird. This is the funk lovers like dream. Like, it smells like a hot can of tuna. Is the closest. You like funky, huh? Yeah, you know, I do. I fluctuate. I kind of go like I'm ahead or behind the times, depends on it. Yeah, but this is like a really good OG. And the only time I really got this smell from another OG was Josh D OG, which is kind of one of the like original base OGs that a lot of people can agree on is just Josh D's OG. And this is like the closest I've smelled to that since I've had that one. So yeah, it's good, man. It's one of those ones where it's kind of almost like offensive funky, but I keep going back to it. I'm like, it's like Taco Bell. It's like, I know you're not going to do me right, but oh, I love you. So yeah, it's good.
I met him the first Dude Grows Cup that I went to. I met JR Token. That was super awesome. Yeah. I was telling him about Miles' fermented plant extracts, and he ended up getting like a little bottle of comfrey, and he absolutely loved it. And so he told me, thanks for checking me on Miles, because I've been getting his products, or like his fermented plant extracts.
Yep. And then Miles Felipe, the weed should taste good guy. Yep. Yes. Yep.
He also makes the hemp should taste good shirt. I think I'm the only one who wears it.
No, you know what? I haven't seen that. I like that spin though. I like that spin, because that is something I want to talk to you about too. Let's you know, because you do have a lot of good knowledge and experience. I get this question sometimes that you know, what's the difference between like medical cannabis and regular cannabis I buy in the store? And the answer is pretty much same thing. I mean, sometimes there may be different protocols on how it's grown and handled, but essentially same plant, same thing. And we get this a lot with hemp, because I know you grow hemp. Like, as far as growing hemp and cannabis, is there like a really big night and day difference between growing the two? Or if you can grow one, are you probably going to do pretty good with the other? Is it the same?
It's the exact same method. You don't have to grow it like that. You could use less attention, and they would do just fine. It depends on what you're growing hemp for. Some people are using it for like fiber, fuel, maybe seeds.
Right.
My focus is more on the flower, the taste, the quality, the terpenes, the flavor profile. So that's like, I'll grow it just the same way I grow cannabis, and I give it maybe a little bit too much attention. But
we always yell
that are for like high in terpene profile. And I like a high CBD. It has to be extremely low in THC. Otherwise, if I bust on my tests, then I fail and I'm not allowed to sell it.
Eek.
So,
you have to destroy it in fire. Yeah, no, because I ask, I mean, there's a lot of people moving into it, and there's a lot of people that actually have no interest in like THC or high THC strains. But hemp, looking for minor cannabinoids, because that market really has been developed and bred for over the past, decade at least, trying to improve the taste, trying to improve the terpenes.
yeah.
So that's good to hear for people who are curious and maybe, watching the show of like, because I even have wanted to grow some different hemp plants for the minor cannabinoids, which I could then, blend into like a joint, mix it with my THC. Because I like it. Yeah.
Also, I've got a friend that like, she loves getting high, but she has really high levels of anxiety, and she's a manager. So when anyone came up to her with whatever goofy problem, she'd be like, oh my God, I have to take care of it right now. And it's just like, she liked to smoke the hemp because she was still able to be on top of her job, focused, staying concentrated on everything, but at the same time, calm, relaxed, chill, able to respond with a, don't worry, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? So for some people, like, even though they like to get high, they also like to smoke the hemp because sometimes they just need to calm down, but there's still work to do. So they're not trying to get super stoned that they might get a little bit forgetful or, lose concentration or focus on something.
Yeah, I like that there's that alternative too. Sometimes it's almost just like the practice or the ritual of doing something. I mean, that kept me smoking cigarettes for longer than it should have. But if you can have something that's pleasurable with that taste, with that same profile, just the act of, inhaling deeply, because when you smoke, you're inhaling deeper and you're getting, it's that rhythm. So just that process alone. Yeah.
I think we talked about that the last time we did a show together on 420. We were talking about the ritual of stepping outside from a situation and having like a deep inhale and exhale. Mm-hmm. Doing that a few times would kind of replicate the same thing as smoking a joint or a bowl or whatever. Or sometimes a deep inhale and then holding on to it for a few seconds and then letting it go, just to relax your heart rate and give your brain some time to think about, okay, how can I solve this problem without going off on people?
No, breathing really is a good technique.
Yeah.
If you can get past that chemical rush or that frustration or that fire, if you can like manage to like control that and then like go to the breathing, which I'm getting better at, life is so much easier and mellower. But you got to fight that initial urge. Shoot, one thing.
Older people like it too. Older people really like the hemp because it reminds them of the weed that they used to smoke, and they don't need too much to like feel effects. So even a hemp joint, they take a few puffs off of that and they start relaxing more, taking their hair down, you know what I mean, having a good time. And it's like,
no idea.
Yeah, hair always down. Thank you.
No idea. But please do go on. So what is a lot of things we hear in the news too is THCA. Like there's all kinds of gas station THCA. Is that the same as hemp? Like where does that fall in?
It's cannabis. It's just regular weed in its flower form. I don't have a bud in front of me, but you do. Weed in its flower form, that's THCA. It doesn't become THC until the moment that you burn it. Like I was over at the Colorado NoCo Hemp Expo. A bunch of people from Texas came over to check out our hemp they wanted to buy. And they're like, how high is your THCA level? I'm like, my total THC level cannot be any higher than 0.3%. And what you're looking for is just like regular high THC weed. So I don't think that they could sell like concentrates, because like having like edibles like gummies or like anything like that that's already in its THC form, they can't sell that stuff.
And that's
so
yeah,
it's very hard talking to them about it.
Yeah, that one's such a mind blower. It's like, that's why we can't have nice things. It's like, those are the kind of people that ruin, those are the same people that ruin medical in our state by like signing their entire family up because they all had hangnails and then setting up a warehouse to grow weed. It's like, you just abuse the system way too much. That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, I say that all the time, but I got kids. So I'm like, I can never have nice things.
Right, shoot. Well, I want to give away some nice things before we carry on. I always, I like to get people growing. So I want to give away a pack of Westport Posse here real quick. I will put a word here in the chat, but we will give away Westport Posse. And good news is everybody who won the last two shows, everything has been mailed and pretty much already delivered for everybody. So these are ready to go out. You shouldn't have a long wait for that. I am going to...
You mailed it out. You did good.
Yeah, see, I thought ahead this time. Like that day that I had to pack up 2 weeks worth, because that was the first time I got like that behind. I've got like the next 2 months packed. So it's ready to go. I just need to write an address on it, put the piece of tape over the address, and then boom, ready to go. So yeah, I got ahead, but then I went on some vacations and then I got behind. And then let's see, I'm just typing in StreamYard giveaway tool on the other screen here.
I got a giveaway that I got to go put in the mail. I've been slacking on this because I've had other things I've had more focus on, but I'm still going to send it. I promise.
All right. You just inspired the giveaway word for the Westport Posse pack. So if you guys are in the US and you'd like to win a pack of the Westport Posse, just go ahead and in chat, type the words mail it. So mail it and we will get them mailed for you. So yeah, Westport Posse. And these are basically going out in 15 packs. I basically fill the tube, so it may be a couple more. I do that. We're definitely going to be giving away some more beans throughout the show. That's something I always like to do at least 3 times. And I got to make a correction too, because you ever get something wrong in your head, but you think it's right? And then it's wrong, but you go back to what you know because you thought that was the right one, but it's always the wrong one.
Dude, I'm too stoned for... You're going back and forth a lot. Are we right or are we wrong? What's going on here?
Yes. So universal elements genetics. And I'm going to put this up here. And this is, again, this drawing is for the Westport Posse. I'll put this one up later, but I've had it in my head for universal elemental genetics for the longest time. Like, and that's what I keep saying, even though he has said, hey, that's not it. And I'm like, fuck, I'm an ass. And then I always made a point to like get it right, but I keep getting it wrong, thinking I'm getting it right. And so this time, from this day forward, seriously, much respect. But yeah, universal elements genetics is the packs that I had to give away. That's another giveaway coming up. That does have a little bit of my work in there, but it has his blueberry. But this one again is for the Westport Posse. And yeah, mail it in the chat. I will give, let's see how many people we've got in there right now. We've got, oh my gosh, over 109. I'll let it get to maybe 115. So a couple more seconds here because I want to give everybody good odds. I always like to reward the early birds for getting in here. But we're already 30 minutes into the show because it's been a while since we've talked. I'm stoked.
Oh, yeah.
Stoked. All right. Let's see here.
The hologram of your face.
Thank you. So it's an absolute blatant ripoff of Obey Giant. It's my face over Andre the Giant, his sticker, and it just says, you know, Obey has a posse. So I took out the Obey and put Westport has a posse, and then it usually says 520 pounds, but 7'4", 520 pounds. But the 4 already had the right font to it, so I just moved the 4 down because I mean 420. Come on, right? Yeah. So yeah, absolute, complete, blatant ripoff, which I love because that's an artist thing in me. But yeah, I like the holograms for seed packs because if anybody's trying to really just like do stupid shit, it's harder to more expensive to get the hologram. So yeah, I like the hologram stuff. I need to get more actually of these because I do have packs available now of this for everybody listening. And if you keep listening, I will tell you guys and actually show you guys all about where you can now find a limited run of these because I need more stickers. So once I can order more stickers, once it goes on sale, then yeah, I'll have more available. But I'll show you. I'll show everybody else a little bit more in a bit where they can pick them up. I haven't even mentioned it, and one person figured it out and already bought a pack. So I think that is awesome, and I'll probably reward them because I haven't even mentioned it. I'm saying too much. I'll get to that later. Let's do a giveaway. Giveaway. Good luck, everybody. Again, U.S. only. This is a pack of the Westport Posse. If you are the winner here, just let us know in chat that you're in the U.S. Hit me up on IG. My link is down in the show notes. And who's it gonna be? Oh, snaps! Yay! Tambourines and elephants. That is awesome. Woo-hoo! And I know that you have a pack of this. So if you want another pack, let me know and I will send you more. I can also look to see if I have something else that you don't have yet, because I think you also have the No Joke testers, which I'll be putting some of those out here this weekend as well. Congratulations. I'm gonna write that down here. Just hit me up on IG. I know you know how. Tambourines. I am not writing that all the way out because this is handwriting here. Come on. Tambourines equal the Westport Posse. All right. Boom. Which means I actually probably have to custom package something. See, that's what happens when you plan and you do all your packing ahead of time. You're like, let me do something totally unplanned for. I love it. All right. Congratulations, dude. Hit me up on the IG, and that link is down in the show notes. And GreenzGoddess, your IG is down in the notes, but also the Living Euphoric website. And I can pull that up here. Do you maybe want to just kind of explain a little bit about that project and how you got started on that road? Because again, I'm a hemp fan. I'm into it.
Well, I've been growing for years, and when I came out to Colorado, I started. I got in the cannabis industry, and I eventually became a grower, and I've been growing for a really long time. And I absolutely love growing cannabis. It's like a huge passion of mine. It's something that over the years, I've learned how to do it. I'm pretty good at doing it, but I'm still continuously learning every time I have a run. The reason why I decided to start my own business is because it's a bit unfortunate out here anyways. People who are really great growers, they don't really get paid a whole lot of money to be able to live. And they're not treated kindly at most places either. And so because of that, I decided that I felt like I knew enough to run and do my own things. I wanted to decide to go ahead and do it. So that's one of the reasons why I started with hemp, is because I knew that it was a really great product, but wasn't too many people making it nicely for flavor. A lot of people were making it just to sell big in bulk. And so I felt like hemp could be grown just the same way cannabis could, and it could still help out a lot of people the same way that cannabis, with high THC can. This one just has low THC. And I knew a lot of people would like that. And because I was good at it, and because I live in Colorado and getting a license was only $500, I decided to go for it. So
Okay.
I made myself a garden, and this is going to be my third year. Right now this is like my third growing season doing it. So it's pretty
Okay.
awesome. We sell
That
the website. We sell like a 1/4 ounce bag and a 1/2 ounce bag and pre-rolls and a flight pack. But if
that's
someone was to message me, then I would do more of like a 1/2 pound or a pound. And I also have some CBG that I'm giving away for, well, not giving it away, but selling it for really, really cheap. Because a lot of people have been using that to like make oils to make for other people. And so because they're so generous, then I want to help out too. And it's like, you
that's
can
cool.
go ahead and have this. So I'm really enjoying doing that. I love having my own garden. Although anytime anything goes wrong, it's my fault. And if my business isn't successful, it's my fault. And that's one of the issues that I'm kind of having is I'm really great at growing cannabis, but I'm not so great at knowing how to run my own business. So I'm learning along the way. I'm learning everything every step of the way. And it helps to
Right.
have people who have been there and done that, and they could like kind of guide you. So that's what's so great about having this kind of community. When you have something that you want to do but you don't know where to start, then you have a group of friends that you could reach out to that'll like give you some really good advice. So I've been
Now, how? Yeah, you mentioned it was a $500 license fee, because I was curious about that. What the process was to actually grow hemp, because it's not the like, as far as I know, it's not, you can't just like toss it in the ground and you're cool with. There are actually regulations you have to go through, or
yeah.
just a fee. Like, what was it like in your state? Because again, this will vary state to state, even sometimes county to county. But for you in Colorado, what was that experience like?
So you always have to report everything. You've got to report when you're starting seeds. You've got to report when you're planting. You've got to report what strains you're growing. And then when it comes time to harvest, you got to let them know you plan on harvesting soon and put that report in. Then you got to get the testers to come out, and you pay someone to come out and clip off your buds. And so they send it back and say which part of your field that they got it from.
Okay.
And then when you get your test results back, that's if they'll let you know whether you could keep it or not. So if it's anywhere above 0.3, literally, I had to get rid of a whole strain that I had, the whole entire strain, because it was
Oh no.
0.35. I'm like, that's not even a 0.4. I think you could cut me some slack. I'm a small backyard gardener. I'm not gardening
Right.
on like acres. I'm not farming like a whole bunch of hemp, just like
Right.
a decent enough size for me to be able to handle and like pay close attention to all of them. And I think
Give
that's
them.
important when you're starting out, not to have like a huge ass field if you don't have a customer to already sell it all to.
That's what led to a lot of bankruptcies and a lot of
Yeah.
failure in the hemp CBD market. When everybody tried to expand and then everybody had this, there wasn't enough processing, and then they couldn't get it to, there was no final customer for it. So a lot of it just like molded in the field. They didn't even bother harvesting it because they had nobody to sell it to. So why pay the cost of harvesting if it's going nowhere? So yeah, that led to a lot of problems in the CBD market,
Yeah.
like a decade ago, probably.
Yeah. A lot of people came in all at once, bought up a bunch of land, sold it all at once, didn't have a customer to give it to. And like everybody's selling in like October, November time frame.
Yeah.
Later than that if they're lucky, maybe way later than that if they're lucky, but October and November, that's when like all the outdoor growers are selling their stuff, so even indoor growers have to compete with that price.
Yeah.
And so it really messes with the market, and the customer doesn't get to see any of the benefits of that, which is too bad. But what else did they do besides not having a customer? Here's the thing. If I say I have in my garden, let's just give an example. If I say I have 5 different strains and one of my strains tested hot, that whole entire row has to go, but I still get to keep my other 4 strains. If these people have only one strain in one
Ooh,
field and that tested hot, they have to get rid of that whole area. Yeah.
wow.
So that's
Diversity
what
then.
was nice
Okay.
about having different strains. even though it costs more for testing and the hemp sampler and stuff like that, because you got to pay for a test for each separate strain. It costs a little bit more to do it that way, but at least if I went hot on 1 or 2 strains, it's just those rows that are gone, but I still have the rest of this garden over here that I could still sell online.
Yeah, it sucks, and it does add up, like, you know, the stupid little like packaging things, and there's so many, like, they nickel and dime you to death. But on those types of things, I'm like, when you're making thousands, don't get mad at spending 100. So just because the individual testing, but you just laid out the example of why that would be so important. Because again, one strain, you lose your entire crop. Let's just say it's $50,000. But if you diversify it, then it's not as bad as a hit, but it's still a hit. So
a small
that's
one,
important. How soon before harvest do they come in to test? Because that's one thing I've heard with some THCA plants is they have to come in and test like a month before harvest. So numbers are pretty low anyways. Mm-hmm. Is it really 30 days before harvest there?
You have up to 30 days. If you have a 30-day window and you're reporting, hey, let's say it's the beginning of September, and you're saying, I plan on harvesting in 30 days from now. Well, that's when I'll start harvesting. But you want to let them know. They're going to say, okay, they write you up the report, and they say, okay, you're harvesting on this day. Then you go out and you get a sampler to come and sample the stuff. You want them to come as soon as possible because you do not want them to sample your THC too hot. Something as small as a 0.35 could like ruin, you know, your whole crop has to be gone. You got to destroy it. That to me is very low. It's not even a 0.4.
It's not even fun. Like there is no fun in that 0.3.
Man, a 0.35, I've never cried over that number before. Like,
no.
0.35? You people are mean.
I know. Here's a really good question that came in here a second ago. Because again, you know, I mentioned medical versus regular flower earlier. And because it's a tricky answer. Like, is hemp plant and CBD plant the same?
Yes.
Yes and no. Just because it's hemp doesn't mean it has CBD, but the higher concentrations of CBD are found in hemp plants, and that's probably why you know, the science guys, they have it, you know, type 1, type 2, and type 3, and I believe type 1 is the THC, type 2 is CBD, and then type 3 is just mixed. And I might be getting those backwards there, but I think that's how it goes. But yeah, type 1, type 2, type 3 is how they discuss them in papers. And hemp so hemp
is defined.
Hopefully that's not too confusing.
Hemp is defined as any cannabis plant with 0.3% or less THC. So it could have CBD, it could have CBG, could have some other cannabinoids. So far, nobody's really growing for those just yet. Right now, CBD is so popular, so everyone started growing for that, and then CBG became really popular. People are starting to grow for that. But you could have a plant that has THC and CBD, but it doesn't qualify as hemp because of the 0.3%. It's higher than that. Like if the THC was higher than 0.3%, technically it's not a hemp plant.
Right.
So, hopefully they're changing that to a 1%.
We would hope we would hope the new farm bill, whenever that comes out, will be interesting, because I think that will change some things. Because again, THC, you fucked it up for all of us, man. Like, we had a good thing going, and you guys had to be like, well, technically it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is that. So yeah, there may be some unfortunate changes coming, but we'll see. Hopefully they do raise it to 1%, because I think on the larger scale too, and that's what they're interested in, is, you know, the big people. You're going to have a lot less failure and a lot less business loss if you raise it to 1%. 1% isn't very significant in relations to intoxication. which is why they're trying to keep it at a low number. They want to avoid that. So yeah, I'd love to see that.
That's understandable. I feel also like on packaging, it's just important to let people know what your percentages are coming in at, you know, and it would be nice if someone was to go and purchase something, like I could try to explain it to them. Oh, this is full spectrum, just so you know, it's going to have a little THC in it, but not a whole lot. And yeah, everybody's different. Everybody takes it differently. They'll take a teeny tiny little bit of THC and they would feel like they are seeing things, you know, having a crazy psychotic episode and freaking out about it. And maybe those people don't want something with too much THC.
No.
You know, I feel like it's just ever evolving.
It is, and that's that's an important point to bring up, and something I always mention when it comes to people who are trying to get like elderly, like a parent or relative, to try edibles for the first time. If they're a person who's not used to being intoxicated, if they're a person who's not used or is a very like control freak type person, has to be in control at all times, those are always the people I give a fake dose to the first time, because psychologically, for some people, it's too much. So if you confidently know that you gave them 0, hopefully you can get them to believe it too, but you know that this is all psychological and they are not the right person for this. But majority of the time they'll be like, well, I didn't really feel anything. I didn't really feel any different. And then you're like, okay, that's when we'll try the, 2 milligram, 5 milligram, something. But yeah, there are some people it's not meant for, but there's more people who don't know about it that it is meant for. So that's why we do this. When it comes to genetics though, like there's only a handful of people that I know to find some like good CBD or some good hemp genetics. Is this something that you've just kind of like privately collected or traded, or are there any breeders that you're aware of people can look at for some minor cannabinoids or just hemp in general?
My boy that I always go to is High Alpine Genetics. I've been using his like the past 3 years because his stuff has a lot of flavor. On my first year, I also used Hoku. You know, Hoku seed coat. He had the CBG ones that I was growing. But the rest of them, I believe, are from High Alpine Genetics. So my first year, Pink Panther did not pass testing, and my second year, Blueberry Meringue, and what was the other one that I'm growing right now? Shoot, there's a third flavor. Oh, I should know this off the top of my head, what I'm growing this season.
That's okay.
Anyways, I got 3 strains that had failed testing the first year and the second year. And so this third year, those are the only 3 strains that I'm growing. And I'm just going to have the testers come out earlier and come and test earlier because they're ready earlier. They're ready.
Okay.
Yeah, at the end of September, maybe beginning of October.
Okay.
So those strains I'm really excited about. I also have from last year Lemon Cookie Dough, Platinum Panther, and Raspberry Bear Claw. And they're all from High Alpine Genetics. If you check him out on Instagram, you'll see all of his different flavors that he's got on there. He's got some really great stuff.
And that's an important word too, flavors. And I see Andy. What's up, Andy? Says, wasn't Hoku working one-to-one line? Yeah, and Hoku was the name that usually comes to mind first for me. Again, introduced to him through the Future Cannabis Project. Still has, I believe, seeds up on the Daga Garden website, Hoku. You might be able to get them direct as well, but I know they have them up there too. So that's one place specifically where people can find some of this, like 0 THC hemp, but higher levels. And when we say higher levels, we mean like 5%, 7%. Like 16 is a mind-blowing percentage for any minor cannabinoid, but it's good to mix in. I like to mix it. My wife likes to mix it in with just the regular THC flower. And I really like 1-to-1 like pens. That's the only time like I smoke the pens is to get CBD. And it's great because it's in a higher concentration. There is no 40% CBD flower out there for me. But this pen, I could get it at a 1-to-1 ratio, 40 THC, 40 CBD. And that's just like, that's awesome. We take that on our walks because we can't, well, we do sometimes, but we usually can't get away with joints at the beach as we walk around with everybody. Hey, Hillbilly Herb, what's up? So he actually has sent me CBD that I'm excited to work, cherry wine, which is probably one of the classic CBD strains.
Super classic, the originals.
Yep. Yeah, one of the original ones. So cherry wine, he sent me some of those, and I forget what numbers it tested at, but I think it was almost a 0 THC, and I remember the CBD being pretty high. But yeah, he's running a Hoku Star Mine CBD right now, so that's another person who can appreciate, mixed cannabinoids or just even at least CBD in their life. I like it.
The CBD strains, they don't have any THC in them either. When I had my 2 CBG strains tested, there was no THC in them. So CBG strains, like high in CBG, 0 to no THC, those ones would be perfect for people who are experiencing like maybe pain, inflammation, cancer, some other things. And if somebody was consuming CBG, then they wouldn't have to worry about any THC toxins.
And he's got the numbers of 50-to-1. That was the ratio I remember. So 50-to-1 ratio there, which is awesome.
That's super high in CBD. That's great.
Yeah. You're not going to get, stoned per se, but that's not always what we're looking for. See, so CBG is, from what I understand, CBG is kind of the precursor of all the different cannabinoids. But the effects sometimes that have been tied to it, like I've heard recently, just kind of like weight loss, but also, CBN is sleep. Gosh, what else did I hear about CBG?
the bowel disease, bowel disease, IBD.
Yes.
Irritable bowel disease? No.
There we go. Thank you. Yes. Irritable bowel
anything that's
syndrome.
Like in your body, you can help out with. Cancer too.
Yes. That. You've totally nailed it now. Yes, because I do remember talking with a person who has I have very, very, very minor diverticulosis. But somebody who seriously had it, and I do remember her turning me on to an article on the CBG and just looking into it. But this was kind of years ago when, again, a lot of stuff, because we can't and we haven't really researched it in a positive manner, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence that adds up over the years. And that's, that's how we got here with CBD. But now there's these minor cannabinoids that we're figuring out, and CBG is, potentially one of them. So that would be great. If it can help with the gut and the stomach biome and the irritable bowel syndrome, all of those things, because I know a lot of people suffer for that. I know a lot of people turn to cannabis for that. And actually, that is one reason I turned to cannabis. And lo and behold, growing cannabis actually taught me more about my own stomach biome than any health class or any doctor in my life.
Wait, and are you growing soil? Are you growing in soil, living soil, or?
Yeah, I'm kind of a cheater living soil because I'm using just like the KIS Organics dry amendments.
No, that's not cheating.
And I'm using microbes. So yeah, I'm doing it, but I'm not. Well, there's some people who play guitar, like punk rock bands, which I've been in. And then there's people who play guitar like Santana, it's like you're both playing guitar, but you're not both playing guitar. So,
oh gosh, yeah. I don't think. Okay, I get what you're saying, but
so I'm in the punk rock.
Living soil and microbials and growing plants, you do learn so much about your body. Like the living soil is like your stomach and your gut health, and then it's like a plant is like your life. So the way that you treat a plant is the way you got to treat your life. Sometimes you got to know when you need a boost of something or to be showered with a little bit of extra love, and other times you got to know when to let go of some garbage that's no longer serving your purpose, your higher purpose, your best self. So you got to cut those branches and get rid of those lower nodes. So plants and just life, so much to learn about when you are growing. I've learned so much about my stomach when I learned about living soil.
Yep. And then you have Stevie Ray Vaughan. So yes, that's another good progression. Van Halen, no, yes. So that is something that's I've always enjoyed learning from you. Early years ago when we started talking, I was learning more about your ferments and kind of because your plants were beautiful. Like results speak. So I knew like you were doing very well in the garden, but you were doing this like hippie shit. I'm like, what is this? Tell me about it. So like KNF for first thing. So like KNF, Korean natural farming, that's typically what that's called. But how do you describe your own growing style? And what is maybe talk about some of ferment stuff? Because I think that'll blow some people's minds.
I really like anything organic growing, and there's so many different ways to do it. You don't have to stick to just one way if you don't want to. But it's got to be organic, like either top dressing amendments. You can make your own ferments. If you don't have the time or the space or all that stuff to make your own, you could buy it off somebody else. And I really like using ferments. I've made my own OHN, Oriental Herbal Nutrient. I've used just a teeny tiny little bit of that in the water. And I've used a teeny tiny little bit myself. People, when they make their own OHN, they'll take it themselves to help keep their own body nice and healthy. It's a whole bunch of different things that you can make. And it reminds me a lot like regenerative farming. Like it shouldn't cost you a lot of money if you want to run a nice garden. You can make your own compost if you wanted to. You could get some chickens and use chicken poop, and that'll help work out same way if you wanted to do that. Letting your chickens be your pest management, that's also regenerative. When you're making beds or doing like a hugelkultur style mound and you're going into your yard and chopping down all your own wood, like dead wood trees or anything, collecting IMO, indigenous microorganisms, that would be something you could like find in your own area, preferably like buried under some trees or something like that. There's a lot of carbon.
IMO, this is one thing I love. And I know Marco, he likes his OHN shots. He does that. Yeah. He's into his IMO. But IMO, indigenous microorganisms, so pretty much kind of what that means, it's like basically the organisms that are local to your soil there. It's what you have around you. Those are the ones that are there. That's and that's what you want to introduce to your soil and get it. But I love the collection because I found an IMO collection out in the woods before I knew what it was. And I was like, what the hell? Why is what weird? That's so weird. And I destroyed it unintentionally, knowing what I know now. Because I took it out, I touched it, I broke it up. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Rice. So do you use the rice method to collect it? And do you just stick a basket of rice out in the woods, or how does that happen?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, it can be a little bit more complicated than that. And you do got to try it a few times before you do a good job. That's one way to do it. And if you're going strictly Korean natural farming, that's the way that they would do it. There are some other ways that you could kind of just collect these microorganisms. For example, when I went out to the forest, looking under these dead trees, you'll see in the soil, which is really decaying plant matter, you'll see in the soil a lot of these fungal hyphae just growing everywhere and connecting everything, and you smell it and it smells very earthy, and you collect just a small sample. You don't take too much, and you shouldn't take anything without returning something, like maybe plant some native seeds or something like that. Just anything that you could do to give back to nature, even if it's cleaning up the trash on your hike, whatever. Give, you take, right?
Yeah, do it.
Just a little bit, you bring that home and you could turn it into tea. So you could take a portion of that soil, put it in your tea bag, do your compost tea like you normally would, and spray that all over your garden. I've gone in my backyard, used my own like leaves and sticks and stuff like that. So by bringing in my own leaves and sticks, that's also bringing in the own microorganisms that are already growing in my yard.
Because they're breaking them down already. Yeah.
They're already there in your backyard. Do you have a backyard or you don't?
Yeah, I do, and I actually have I have woods like right there. I can throw a rock, and if I open the door, I can hear the ocean. So like really
That's perfect.
shells, kelp. I'm
Yes,
surrounded by
I would
everything.
get that too.
There's
Go to the
horsetails on my
ocean.
walk.
There's
Big
snails.
like thing of horsetails that I've been eyeballing for
Oh,
silica. Because again,
nice.
that's
Wow.
one of the ferments you can use is
Yes, it
horsetail.
is.
That's really high in
I
silica.
use that
So
in my garden too. I mean, it was something I got from Miles. Thank you, Miles. But you could collect your own horsetail, and then the idea is that you would collect your plant early in the morning because it still has like dew on it, and these dew might be filled with all sorts of beneficial protozoa. So they'll always say go out early in the morning before the sun comes up, and that's when you cut
right.
down and collect your portion, not too much, obviously. And you come back and you chop it up and you mix it up with some raw brown sugar, 1-to-1 weight typically. It depends. I've tried this with a few different plants. It depends on how juicy the plant is. Some plants are really juicy and you pour like some sugar and that might be just enough. Other plants might seem kind of dry. You may need just a teeny tiny little bit more sugar. Anyways, you mix it all up. You put it into like a glass jar. You got to really shove it in there, and it helps if you had something on top and a weight on top of that. And one thing I had learned was a sugar top, just to kind of enclose those microorganisms that are going to start
Okay.
growing and feeding to stay in here and not really come outside or get to the air, I guess. So you want to have something heavy on top so it's squishing this, applying pressure. Then you give it a few days, depending on how the plant is. The plant might be ready, or your fermented plant extract might be ready in 7 days, or it might not be ready till 14 days or something like that. And so then you strain it out. You flip it all upside down, and then you let all like it's syrup. So you let the syrup come out, and then you could toss the plant material somewhere safe. And then you got your own little jar of fermented plant extract. That's one way of making it. Well, that's more like fermented plant juice than an extract.
FPJ.
Yeah.
I've realized everything in like the KNF and the Jadam world. It's
Yeah.
almost like the medical world because it's all abbreviations, like the FPJ, WCA, and yeah, WCA was the calcium. Yeah, it is a lot quicker too. Yeah. But it makes you a better Scrabble player at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a word for you. It's got a W.
Yeah.
You're like, that's not a word. Yeah.
No. I have learned a lot of fun things here. Let's see, JQ, the real question says, Chad, and you can't find a TH cultivar that is not automatic or semi-automatic that finishes on time outdoors. It all depends on where you live. It all depends on your seasons. It all depends on how much daylight you get and what the weather changes to. So my latitude, it really depends. I'm on the west side of the mountains, which is the wet side. There's the east side of the mountains, which gets all of the sun. They have over 300 days of sun on the east side of the mountains in Washington. I'm in the west side. September rolls around, still hot as heck over there. But I get a lot of ocean mist and a lot of moisture. And if you have, good sized plants, it can lead to heartbreak. So you can find one that finishes on time outdoors. You can find ones that flower quicker than others. I know Blueberry Muffin was something that finishes like 45, 50 days. So that would probably finish. But autos have that advantage of being able to be planted earlier. Doesn't matter about the sun in the sky and how long it's up. And so they'll be able to finish earlier, and I could finish them here. So hopefully that clarifies that one. Didn't mean to confuse you there, but yeah, it really all depends on where you're at. So same longitude even, but east side or west side of the mountains in Washington makes a big difference. I was actually blown away by the amount of heat that was out in Colorado when I was there. It was a dry heat. It wasn't a Florida heat, which was nice, but that's got to kind of be hard controlling environment sometimes. Yeah. I mean,
you're a lot closer
heat
to
rises. Yeah, heat rises. So, I mean, that makes sense. I was wearing my sunglasses the whole time. And
you too.
It's like walking in. I got out of the airport and I was like, my gosh, it's like a room full of HPS lamps just turned on. I'm like, oh, my eyeballs. They hurt.
I
They
suppose
hurt.
someone coming from Washington would say that.
It's at sea level too. I'm like probably 10 feet above sea level, if that. So
Today's a really hot day too. I think it was like 92 degrees today. Not the hottest. I mean, it gets like pretty close to 100. But our hottest days have been like in the 90s. Really hot. Perfect day to go out to the river though.
Yeah,
Go for a swim in some melted snow water.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to expertly segue from fire and hot into genetics giveaway. I mean, giving away that heat, that fuego, hot. Yes. This one, and again, I'm gonna get it right this time because I continually get it wrong, thinking that I'm getting it right, and I sincerely apologize because. Cool, dude. And this is a kind of a collaboration that we have. So this one is going to be for the Universal Elements Genetics Pack. And we've been giving these away. He blessed the show and myself with a number of these to give away to you guys to grow. But it is his blueberry times my Hans Gruber. He was one of my testers, and he was testing the Hans Gruber, found a male that he really enjoyed, and put that to his prized blueberry, something that he's held for a long time, really enjoys. So these are regular seeds. I believe there's more than 10 in here. Probably could open it up. But yeah, so that's what we are going to be giving away, Universal Elements Genetics. And just to get it right, just to celebrate everybody in the U.S., if you would like to win this pack, just type elements into the chat and we'll get this sent out to you. And again, if you are the winner, you'll just hit me up on Instagram. My IG is in the show notes below, and GreenzGoddess's links are down below. You've got your IG there. And I didn't quite complete the Living Euphoric. I did Living Euphoric space calm. So if you guys go in there, just copy it, cut that out. But dude, YouTube and linking to anything that has a flower or a plant on the front page is just like so unfortunately risky.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's not too easy. I got a strike on my channel just the second I entered Adam Dunn show, or not the show, but his website, the THC's website. Like I hit enter, I refreshed the page, and my channel had a strike. I was like, the fuck? But yeah, it was because that link is like highly flagged, and I was not aware of it, but I let him know. But you mentioned Miles earlier. It was cool when I was out in Colorado, when I was there for the DGC Cup, where I got to see you. What's that?
What do you call it?
The state? Colorado? Oh no.
Okay.
Colorado.
Colorado.
Colorado. That's Colorado. Dude. Okay. So here's like an embarrassing personal story that nobody here just asked for. Okay. But I was working at Trader Joe's. I don't know if you have that grocery store. It's kind of like a hip, trendy little grocery store. We all wear cute little Hawaiian shirts. Trader Joe's. Anyways, in the University District, University of Washington in Seattle on the Ave. And I don't eat olives, dude. I'm not that cultured. I love gas station hot dogs. So there was this lady in there, and she had kind of like a Southern accent. And she came up to me, and she's like, "Can you tell me where the Colorado olives are?" And I was like, Colorado olives? What? I know where the olives are. So we went over there, and like we're looking, and I don't see them. And she's like, "The Colorado olives? You don't see them?" And I turned to my coworker, and I'm like, "Do we have Colorado olives?" And he's like, "You mean Kalamata olives?" I was like, "Oh, I thought you had an accent, and I thought she was asking for Colorado olives." She was asking for Kalamata, not Colorado. So yeah, I'm glad you just called me out on my pronunciation. Thanks,
dude. I was just talking to I went to go get my nails done, and this guy, I don't know why he asked me he was trying to ask me. Okay, let me tell you what he said. He goes, "Oh, do you like going to the beach?" And I was like, "Oh, what? What'd you say?" He goes, "Do you like the beach?" And I'm like, I like beaches. They're fun to go to, but I don't like bitches. They're mean. And he goes, oh, like he didn't realize what he was saying.
Oh no.
You're saying bitch. You're not saying beach.
Oh no, yes.
He
The
laughed so
pronunciation.
hard.
We with the audio company I worked for, our partner was in New Zealand. It was a collaboration, and it had to do with turntables. And turntables, the slang term, or the common term is deck. All right, let's put that over on deck A, and we put it on deck B, and we'd be talking. They say deck differently. And we would try so hard to get them on the conference calls to say deck. And we would just be all, yeah.
Put it on the
deek. Yeah. So Deek 1, Deek 2 is the one we're having the problem with. But what about Deck 3? No, Deek 3 is all right. So yeah, we're highly mature, and it was a multi-million-dollar company. Whatever. It only changed the face of turntablism. Yeah, Deek. So highly mature. Let's see how many people.
On the Deek.
Yeah, yep. Deek 1. We've got a problem with Deek 1. All right, 123 people in there already, probably 125. We still got more giveaways, but let's real quick here do this Universal Elements Genetics. The blueberry times the Han Groover regular beans. These are already packed. These are ready to go. And hey, tambourines, if you wanted one of these as well, instead of that Westport Posse, which I think you already have, just let me know and I'll send you one of these too, which means I would already have it packed. Hell yeah. All right. All right. Good luck, everybody. We're going to hit the draw here. So again, US only. Just let me know in the chat. That you're in the US, and then hit me up. Who is it gonna be? Stephen R. Congratulations. All right. Yay, Stephen R. Writing this down. Universal Elements Genetics. We've got that down. And I promised earlier too, I mentioned that there would be a place for people to get the Westport's Posse after it sold out couple months ago. Something that I promised, something that I've been working on for 2 years, 363 days. It's finally up. I finally have my freaking website. So nice. Yay. After all of I seriously, and I know that date because my plan, I bought a 3-year plan and it expires on the 8th. It's the 6th. But I finally got it up. Yeah, I finally got it up. I finally got it.
Can we scroll it? Can we scroll up?
Yeah. So here's the work tab here. We've got the Strain Peaks or Twin Peaks strain catalog. That's where you'll find a lot of the Twin Peaks strains. You can read about them. IGLM, this is my professional writing. So IGLM, Sensi Seed, Skunk Magazine, and Pot for Pot. Those are things that companies I've wrote for. I got some video links in here. Let's just go in here. So videos, I got some thumbnails of my show, different shows on my channel. We got some guest appearances here. Go in and it has some links to these shows, but shout out to everybody who's had me on their show over the past couple of years. Got a list here, and I'd love to keep that list growing so people could come check that out. And again, here is just my YouTube channel. Tells you a little bit about it. Has a link at the end. So that's that tab. I've got the Dope History tab, which has all the Dope History episodes. Discount codes if you guys want to save some money. Let's see, we've got discount codes for AC Infinity, AutoPot, Real Growers, and Spider Farmer. Just click on any of the pictures and it gives you the discount code over there. You can even hit the arrows and you could go to the different discount codes I've got there. If you guys have grow questions, just pop them in here. I'm also going to have a place where I'm uploading different documents Already a link in here to the Cannabis Encyclopedia by Jorge Cervantes, and then also a link to The Secrets of the West Coast Masters, which is a 2011 book. But this really teaches you how to get monster plants in small spaces. It teaches you about how to train a plant to get like 64 tops. This is when everybody's like, I get 2 pounds of light. So there's some links there already. And then if you guys do want to find out a little bit more, I do have an info page here. You can find links to all of my writings here. Like if you click, the ILGM link, it'll take you to my author page, but it shows you all of the different articles that I've created for them. I've got quite a few and I'm adding to it. There's even 2 pages worth. But yeah, so you can click there, some links to city or to series. If you guys want to join the mailing list, find out about drops and whatnot, you could just drop them in there. And then store. I think this is what everybody's looking for. Right now, there's 25 packs up there. The Westport Posse. We've got shirts, got some sticker packs, got the card packs, got some postcards. There's fun stuff. You guys can check it out. But yeah, thanks for letting me share that with you guys. But that is
Cool.
what I've been working on, what I finally got up and going. So the Nakatomi Plaza, Chud, and here we got the Westport Posse. Yeah, it gives you all the description and what you need to know over here. So yeah, that's that, everybody. I promised I'd have a website up. I promised there'd be a place for you to get beans, and I beat the clock by 2 days. So we're good.
Wow.
Thank you.
Outdone yourself.
Yeah, I'm hoping everything goes smoothly. I went to my own store. I bought something and just to see how the whole process worked, and it should be good. It's got its own processing. Yeah. Thanks for 363 days in. Whoops, there it is. 363 days in. All right, but it's done. You guys can check it out. And again, once I get more stickers, there will be more Westport's Posse available, but I need to order the stickers. And that is enough about me. We're going to do another giveaway here in a little bit. So do stay tuned for that. But dude, I want to keep talking some more. So you were going indoors and you were going outdoor before. Are you still doing both? What is your grow situation looking like? Do you offset your indoor and your outdoor harvest time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
When I'm got my outdoor season and my hemp plants are outdoors, I just want to put all my extra time that I have in the day on that. And then when I don't have that outside and everything's so sad because there's snow all over the place and it's freezing cold outside and you're just looking at this empty garden that you can't. It sucks.
I want to play.
You gotta have something inside. So, you open up the door and the light's still bright and you're like, oh, it's summer in here. It's just so nice to always have a garden to play with, but you don't want to give yourself too much work to do because I still got a family. I still want to go on vacations and have fun. So I'm not trying to overload myself with going back and forth. So I do a personal stash indoors. That's like me and my husband's weed or if friends come over or whatever. And then outdoors is when I do the hemp stuff.
Okay. That's a good way to do it. A good cycle. You have a little bit more control indoors over environment and insects. But does anything as far as like your methodology, like your soil or your nutrient recipes, does anything change dramatically or slightly?
No.
Okay.
I would probably have to be more conscious about pests outdoors. But there's other ways to like kind of handle those things. That's the main difference. Inside, I really don't have pests. I don't really have to worry about pest management. I got my little predator mites inside of the soil, and they're still alive. If I water, I could see them coming out and moving about. So I'm like, okay, like indoors, I really don't have bad pest pressure. It's outdoors where I have like a chicken deficiency. And so I have so many grasshoppers, those little assholes.
Oh no. And
Other than that,
they'll eat the leaves, right? They'll eat the leaves and
do.
cause damage. Yeah.
They do. And they
Bastards.
multiply.
Real fast.
Yeah, so you want to keep birds around. Birds will take care of them. I was trying to grow some marigolds to help out with pest management. Shortly after I transplanted them outside, I noticed all of the heads were eaten off. And so I wonder if the rabbits came to eat them. It's possible. I don't know of any other thing that would have eaten those flowers, but went right for the flowers and just took off the. And so I'm like,
deer around here would be the culprit.
Really? They'll come up and eat your
Yeah.
plants? Yeah.
Oh yeah, in the garden. Yeah, they hop fences too. I don't know if you have them in your area, but that's my brain. When I see that outside, I'm like, deer. Damn it.
Probably because like you got the woods and stuff, so you got them. We would have them in our mountains, but I'm like in the Denver metro area, so we don't oftentimes see deer in the city. Just rabbits and foxes. Hawks.
Okay. Here's something from Raptor Grows. Good to see you. Grasshopper ferment. One way you could use them. Like, you'd probably have to collect a lot.
Grasshoppers. You got to go out there and collect them, which I'm so grossed out by bugs. Maybe I could pay my son and his friend to do it because little ones love gross things. You collect all the grasshoppers, put them in a Ziploc bag, and stick them in the freezer. That's what Potent Ponics said. Not that I'm going to want to make that, but you can make a grasshopper ferment, or like same thing like how you would do Jadam style of fermentation, where you just dump the thing in a bucket with water. You could do that with grasshoppers too, but to kill them all inhumanely would be to stick them in the freezer, and it doesn't take them too long to die.
Damn.
That's not coming from me. I heard that from Potent Ponics. I wonder if he was talking about the same thing when he meant. I don't know if you made that up, but it is a real thing. Grasshopper ferment. Well, that's how you get
that for sure.
They smell their dead bodies, and they wouldn't want to come anywhere near that garden. Yeah, is the theory.
And he's another person who I've learned a lot from as far as like KNF, Jadam. So I'm like, it's kind of almost like, for lack of a better term, like third world farming practices, because a lot of people do this. Exactly. There's so many areas of this world don't have grow stores. So many areas of this world don't have Miracle Grow. A lot of areas don't have running cars, but yet they farm like masters. And it's because of techniques like this, using that regenerative source. And I just sent it to Tad for our Tuesday show. We're talking about, let's see if I can pull it back up. But there was an article that finally came out. It was a study. Where is it?
That's so cool. I think he's a really cool dude. And I love his shows. I definitely learned a lot listening to his podcasts.
Yeah, he's a fun person to talk to. It's kind of funny, and I feel bad sometimes because I'm like, we do the show together, but it's pretty much just me asking him questions the whole time.
I would if it was me. I'd have a whole list written down.
Yeah, so this was an article that I found that we'll probably be talking about, but it says permaculture found to be a sustainable alternative to conventional agriculture, and this is a long-term study. It's in phys.org, so it's been reviewed, but it just basically talks about this long-term study that has been going on, and this is the result. So that's a positive thing to see, because hopefully more people go there. Farmers and cannabis growers too. We're an oxymorons, and we want something new, but it has to be proven to work, because I'm not going to take the risk on something that's unproven, but I want something new and better, but it has to be proven. So
like when you're talking
takes a long time.
Dressing amendments, it's a very similar thing. Like I want to go organic and I wanted something easy, like a top dressing amendment. I'm not really sure 100% exactly what my cannabis plants need right now. But if somebody else says, oh, I already did all the research for you, and I've already had a lot of people test out this mix, let me send you this mix. This is exactly what you need. It's like, great because I enjoy learning, but I'm not like a super nerd that could like hold on to everything that I've learned. And sometimes I just would like an easier route. Like
And we don't have
minutes.
Yeah, because a lot of times we don't have the tools to look at certain levels of things or microbial counts. We don't have the tools that these companies do. It's like, yeah, let them spend the millions of dollars on research and development, and I'll buy it at $30 a bag when I could buy a $15 bag. But you guys did all the research to get exactly what I'm looking for. I'll spend a little bit more. And I guess that's a good, like way to lead into your soil. Like I still use bag soil. I'll do my amendments, but there are people who are making their own soil mixes. I don't know. What is your soil mix like? Is it a mixture of different components like cocoa and soil, or how are your beds running?
I've always done the Coots recipe.
Okay.
Coots mix. Like I've made it because I've like calculated how much did I need to fill up a bed, and it would be a lot less expensive if I just got the ingredients and made it myself, which is a huge pain in the butt, sure. But I mean, I made 4 indoor beds, and then the whole outdoor garden I made with the same thing. However, there are some other elements that I brought into it. So like the bed wasn't just soil. There was the whole soil horizons, the layers that Lake Noise taught us. I made that. I've also learned bringing in, like, we have Colorado clay soil, bringing in some of your own soil and mixing it in with that would help the plants to establish a little bit better and be better at our environment because of our microorganisms. And clay soil is really good. That's not something that's really
a lot of minerals. Yeah. It's crap for drainage, so that's why you really don't want a ton of it. But yeah, it's very nutrient rich, and the ionic too.
Yeah. And so that's mainly what I use. Sometimes if I was like, for example, I'm trying to do an outdoor auto, like it's just at least one good outdoor auto. I didn't have to build like a whole big pile of soil. So I just ran to the grocery store and got a bag of organic soil and dug out a hole in my backyard and filled, sticks and leaves at the bottom, but then I filled it up with soil and then put some straw on top to keep it all nice and moist. So it depends on what you have. If you have a little bit, the reason why I invested so much is because to me, it's a one-time thing that I'm putting into this bed. I don't have to keep buying soil because I don't throw it out when I'm done with the run. I recycle and I reuse it. Like after you harvest, you wait a few weeks to let the bed just kind of catch up with itself, and then you plant new plants in. Like I don't throw anything else.
Do you leave the root balls in the soil when you harvest, or are you kind of pulling those out as well?
So that's actually been a fun debate with a lot of different growers, because some people would say leave the root ball in because it's good for the rhizosphere and all this other stuff. So sometimes I have. Other people would say you should pull the root ball out because in case if there was any toxins that was being collected in that soil, or maybe something from kelp, for example, if it was in that root ball, you would pull the root ball out. Also, you don't want to disturb the soil because the no-till style of growing, or maybe you pull the root ball out just to give it a little bit of a looseness, just loosen up just a teeny tiny bit. So there's a lot of back and forth between people. Some people will say leave the root ball in, and other people will say take it out. And then some people would say take it out if you're going to use it as medicine, because you can take out that root ball as long as your soil's nice and healthy and use that root ball as medicine.
I've seen the Rasta's making CBD tea with the roots, root tea.
Yeah. That's true.
Yep. And, again, that's an interesting one too. And it would be interesting over time to see if you really noticed one way or the other where it affected. However, that's one of those things that takes time. You're not going to have an answer in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. You're really going to have to wait like a year, a few different runs before you can be like, well, now I have something to kind of compare it to. I got to do a year with this other stuff. But you have multiple beds, so you could probably A and B it though.
Yeah. And one bed is like outside in the ground with the rest of, I don't know what was put out there. And then the other bed is my personal bed of my mix that I made, so I know what is in there. So there's definitely some room to play around and try to figure out which method is best.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Coots Mix earlier, and that's been a very popular one. That's something, if anybody's curious, just Google Coots Mix and you will find the recipe, and it will tell you exactly how to do it. It's pretty simple. There's really 3 main ingredients to it. Yeah, Coots Mix. It's an awesome one. And you reuse your soil, so you're not, like you said, throwing it out, getting it again. But when you started with all those beds, you had to have a lot of material to start with. So how did you mix that? Was it like a tarp or a kiddie pool?
Yeah.
Because it can't be like bucket by bucket, you know?
No. A tarp, a really big tarp, and it sure does help after you've put in all your ingredients and on top and in a pile. It helps to have a friend, and the two of you just have a shovel and you just go opposite sides around the pile, just shoveling and mixing it together, because it's a lot of work. But the way I look at it is, yeah, but I set it and forget it. You know, I do this once. I don't have to haul up soil every time I need a new soil or every time I'm ready to throw out old soil. It's perfectly fine soil. You just want to re-amend it when you're ready to go back into grow, and then amend it when it's time for it to go into bloom, and then give it a little bit of time after you just harvested a plant. I normally do not start a new one immediately. One time I have, because of scheduling. This one was taking forever to come out. These seeds are ready to go in right now. I can't possibly wait any longer. I have been giving it nothing but water lately to try to hurry up, speed up its finishing time. So I felt that the soil was kind of ready for these seedlings to be moved into anyways. So I've done it once and it's really no big deal.
Do you do, a couple of things? Do you do any kind of soil testing, maybe like once a year or between rounds? And then
I haven't yet, but I want to. And I know that TAD, they got like a special soil testing thing that they are doing. That's what I want to do, especially for like, can you hear me?
Oh, wow. It just got louder and better. Yeah.
No. Actually. Are you serious? I thought I had this thing plugged in the whole time.
Oh, no. It was like one little click away from being all the way in. Oh, that's hilarious. Because we did hear you fine earlier, but it is a little clearer now.
Okay. Jeez. I can only hear you in my ear now versus hearing you on the computer. So that was the dead giveaway.
Wow. Okay. Yep.
All right.
We're here. That's all right.
No, I have not done soil testing yet, but I need to, and I want to do that. The Tad Hussey soil testing. Have you done it?
I haven't. Because I was using his soil and his nutrients, he pretty much will know almost kind of what it needs. Again, I let him do all the R&D on this stuff. I'm like, dude, you got it down. I'm confident in where you source your material. That's another reason why I kind of gravitated to him before we even had the relationship we do, is just because I believe in the sourcing and a lot of the things that he does. But yeah, it's nice. I'm like, so how many tablespoons is that? He's like, 5. Okay, cool. Plans are looking good. So yeah. Take kind of, again, like I said, I'm the punk rock of organics right now.
Right. I'm here to have fun and learn, and I do want to get better at my craft, but I'm new and I'm not there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the fun thing, particularly about the style of growing, you've chosen and a lot of people have chosen. It's not as much of paint by numbers. There's always something we can learn. There's always because there's a lot of things that have the components we want and need. And maybe we're used to using one and then we find something that's better. It has twice of the mineral that we're really trying to get from it. So yeah, it's a constant game. But the plants, again, results speak. So over time, we'll know what's really doing good. And you can't change too many things at once, I think that's something that I wanted to try to get to. So how do you maybe like handle with experimentation between some of the FPJs, the, fermented plant juice extracts, because they don't come with 5 milliliters in week 2, 10 milliliters in week 5.
Oh, it's
hard to measure.
It's not, it doesn't always have to be such a perfect recipe.
Same thing like Ku always said about his mix. Right. Like this doesn't have to be 100% exact, so don't stress over the 1 cup. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like an ideal measurement so that you can understand how much of this you need and how much of this you need. Kind of basic.
And there's more forgiveness. Yeah, I'm
yes,
sorry.
Yes, that's the word that we're thinking of, forgiveness. So I don't normally test things side by side. If I'm going to try something, I'm going to put it everywhere. Like, I got a bottle of that in soil algae, and it's just like basically bioavailable microbials from live algae. So they're live algae microbials in this mix.
Does it eat the algae or does it promote algae?
It promotes.
I'm thinking of the green stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could foliar spray with it, or you could put it in the soil. And they asked me to test it out, and I told them, well, the only way I'm going to test it out is just to put it all over the garden. I wouldn't want to put it on just half of the garden, and half of the garden grows amazing, and the other half that I didn't apply it doesn't grow amazing. And I'm like, oh, well, I lost out on that. So I'm just kind of an all-in person. If I'm going to try it, I put it on everything. And if I notice an improvement, then I'll use it again.
Send a chat to Steven here. Thanks, Steven.
Steven,
that's you have it in your mind though. You have to have that base reference point, and that's like I started growing with just like water. I wanted to know what the plants would do naturally, and then I started adding stuff to see if it increases. And sometimes people will go A and B, so you can you can really see the difference. But in your case, you're like, I remember you're growing the same plants again for one. So you already know what they're capable of. You're growing them in the same environment. So you know what that environment can produce.
Yeah.
There's going to be variables that will create differences in ultimate final yields, but you have that base reference. So that's how you're kind of able to get away with that.
Yeah.
So.
You'll notice like if you use a product and, then you're like, I don't think that I had to have used this product. Maybe, next time I try this next run, I won't use it and see what happens. And then the next run, you notice like a smaller or weaker or less roots. And you're like, okay, I see how beneficial using that product was. Because when I was using that product, I had nicer, whatever, a bigger plant, healthier leaves or nicer roots, whatever it was you're going for.
Roots are an important thing to check. I love looking at my root balls when I'm done because again, I'm in pot, so I'm able to like tip it out and I can look at my root balls. But I always inspect my root balls. If you're in a 7-gallon container and you're not even touching the bottom and nothing's really swirling, well, next time save yourself some money and try a 5-gallon and see if you're nailing the roots in that one. Maybe you're not watering right for it. So yeah, there's so many things you can learn from it. Overwatering too, you'll see that pretty darn easily in there.
I've definitely noticed that in my hemp garden, and this year it was like a sprinkler that I was using that would continuously go back and forth, which is fine when they're in the veg phase anyways. It gets the whole entire area all wet. Well, one thing I've noticed was just my plants right in the center haven't grown much compared to the ones on the edges. And I'm thinking, why on earth would that even be? Like I was thinking about it for so long. Then I realized it must have been that sprinkler creating a massive amount of water to always be at the center, but not too much water at the edges, giving it just the perfect amount. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm going to start hand watering. That way the edge plants, like they need more water, and the center plants, they don't need too much. So that's the lesson that I had to learn this year the hard way.
Well, observation is so important. Again, just we always say, I spend just 20 minutes staring at my plants. I don't know what I'm thinking about, but I'm just there staring. It's that observation, because you don't know things a lot of times until after the fact. But if you're observant like that, you're like, okay, it's got to be a watering thing, and the thinking of the pattern of how that sprinkler is going.
Yeah. Half of my gardening is spent with me just staring at my plants with my hands on my hips. Like, all right, what's going on here, or if you see something looking beautiful and amazing, you can't stop staring at it. You're like, I did good this time.
I love those moments.
Yeah.
What a lot of times when I A and B different products, like the past couple years, I went on almost like an experimental phase of like, I want to try a bunch of different things that people were offering, because I'd already gone through like trying different nutrient lines and seeing, oh, what's my favorite? But I'm kind of really settling back down into something specific to try to really actually get more of like a SOP that I could give to people so they could get the same results with my genetics.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that everybody should strive for. If you're making genetics or just growing, it's like set people up for success. And that's a great way to do it. But I did always like to kind of A and B things. And I would say the majority of times, like at least 90%, I can't really tell a difference between the treated plant or the untreated plant when it comes to like, sweeteners or bloom boosters or overload the P and K versus not as much and increase maybe a little nitrogen in flower. Like there's a lot of different things where I've not seen a significant enough difference, although it is probably there. And again, I always say too, for me, if I gain 2 extra grams per plant, that's 12 extra grams per harvest. Who cares? If you get 2 extra grams per plant in your commercial operation with 100,000 plants, 200,000 extra grams, that makes a big difference. And so that's a lot of times why we see, a lot of the claims that we do. But I have seen a few things. I wanted to ask you if there were any things or any products where you were like, yeah, you know what? I really think that helps. And I'm going to keep that in my protocol. Is there anything that has stood out to you over the years?
A couple things. One of the things I always used to use the Great White. Am I thinking of that correctly? The one with the shark on it, the mycorrhizae.
Yep, the Great White, the mycorrhiza.
Yeah. I used to use that a lot, not really knowing why I was using it. I felt like I didn't need it. I stopped using it. And then everybody's going on and on and on about mycorrhizae. You got to try this. You got to try Bigfoot. You got to try Dino Myco. You got to try Great White.
Yeah.
And so you're going to the store and you're looking at the cost and how many ounces and how much do I need to use? How often do I need to use it really? And how much is that cost? And I've noticed a difference between not using mycorrhizae versus using mycorrhizae. You can use whichever one that you like, but it's definitely beneficial to use it versus not using it. I've noticed a huge difference in using it versus not using it. And I just always go to Great White because mainly affordability, and it's really great. I mean, it has mycorrhizae, it has beneficial bacteria, it's got other like really great things to it. So I would always add that product in.
Yeah, and that's totally one of the types of products too. So that's an excellent example. Yeah. And again, that helps people. It helps the roots grow, helps the roots feed, helps the roots colonize the rhizosphere basically. And bigger the roots, the bigger the fruit. So under the soil is just as important. So that's a great one. I don't know if you had any others that jumped out.
Another one is always going to be either making your own fermented plant juice or getting somebody else's fermented plant extracts, because I've noticed a big significant difference in using those, especially if you're using it as a foliar spray during veg. Like the plants just love that. They just soak it in. They love those little microbials. I've noticed a big difference. I personally like using that versus going to buy bottled nutrients. And I say bottled nutrients like it's a bad thing, even though like fermented plant extracts, those all come in bottles. But you can make your own. I got my own comfrey plant growing. I can make my own comfrey extract. If you got horsetail on your trail and behind your house, you can make your own horsetail extract for your own silica. So like fermented plant extracts or making your own fermented plant juice, I've noticed a huge significant benefit to using that instead of going to the grow store and spending a lot of money buying a bottle and thinking that my plants won't grow if I don't have that. That's not necessarily true. They just need some food. But because I'm growing in a big bed, I'm more concerned about the soil life, because if I
Mhm.
make sure my soil is on point, then the rest of the plant will do just fine.
Yep. Yeah, and I get hippier by the day because of this plant. But we always talk about like whole plant medicine. Like I'm a big flower guy. I enjoy my flower. I think
Me
that's where the
too.
magic is. I like other stuff, but the effects are different. Like there's something
Yes.
magic about whole plant, full spectrum, and that in your example relates back to the plant and what the plant wants for nutrients and what makes the plant feel good. It's that ferments, because that's the whole plant medicine versus an extracted, nitrogen molecule. Or so
Yeah.
yeah, that's how a lot of times I can relate that or make sense in my head. It's again, I believe in full plant medicine, so why not full plant medicine from a plant?
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't make it a cannibal, but we won't go there. We won't go down that route. I don't think we want the answer.
Sort of, right? You're
Yeah, I
using dead
know.
plant to feed this. Technically, you're feeding the soil. You're
Don't
feeding the
say that in
soil, not
front
the
of the
plant.
plants. I
Unless
know.
you're
Don't say
fully
that in
spraying,
front.
then yeah.
Right. Well, we're getting up very close to the 2-hour mark here today.
Oh,
I want to do. I know.
we're
I want
having
to
too
do
much
one more
fun.
giveaway. Yeah. Right. I know. This is an definitely easy conversation. We'll have to do it again because there's so much. Like we scratched the surface of what you kind of do. We didn't necessarily get down into like the technical knowledge that you possess that makes this all work so well as it does. But people can, check out your Instagram. You got a lot
Yeah,
of
share
good
everything.
pictures up there. Yep.
I also got a
And the
YouTube
website.
channel, so I'm sharing everything on there too. So,
Get out of here. I need to go subscribe. What
yeah.
is it? Tell me.
Well, my
Please.
YouTube channel is at GreenzGoddess,
Okay.
but everything on that channel is mainly the hemp stuff. But I have done like some autos, like I'll do autos indoors and just show from like seed to harvest growing an auto.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's just kind of, how we started out the show too, talking like growing hemp, growing cannabis plant,
Same thing.
really same thing. So there's so much we can learn. That's why I studied traditional agriculture
Yes.
for a while. There's so much stuff we can transfer over. And it's always funny because a lot of the new tech in cannabis is like 1920s tech from agriculture, but
Jeez.
it's
Yeah.
rediscovered, so it's
Yeah.
useful again. But yeah, it's
Regenerative farming, I think that's definitely the future for food and everything.
absolutely, they're moving that way. I'm seeing a lot more of the type of papers like I showed earlier, because they realize that it's not sustainable, but more so the thing that's forcing their hand is the predicted future shortage of these
Yeah.
types of minerals and fertilizers. They're like, we're going to have to come up with another way of doing this. So let's just go the hippie route and see how it works. So I'm glad that they are, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're coming around. They're coming around. All
Yeah.
right. Before we go, one more giveaway. I want to do one more giveaway, and this one is a very, very special one. This is going to make some old school growers very happy, outdoor growers even happier. And then we'll, definitely get some more info of where people can find you. But I want to put this one up. This is the last drawing for the day. Again, U.S. only. Let's see here. Where's my button? There's my button. Okay. So this is again from Some Bitch. I know, right? I'm a one-man show here. Some Bitch Seeds. U.S. grade A Some Bitch Seeds. Let's see if I can get this to focus, because this guy gets the real deal. He's got the real deal stuff, and he made this cross. So this is a Panama Red times Thai. These are two strains, kind of landrace strains that people have been just like pining after and wanting. And he made this cross. So it's a Panama Red times Thai. This will transport you back to the 70s. And if you've never been there, prepare for the psychedelic trip. But also as part of that too, Duke Diamond from Dominion Seed Co. has hooked us up to give away a bunch of these jeweler loops and actually sticker. I forgot stickers in the other room for Duke today. It's a sticker of that cool arse logo there, the Dominion Seed Co. But again, this little jeweler's loop comes in handy in the garden. You can do it 60 times, 30 times. You can look for bugs.
Wow.
You can look at your trichomes. And it's got little lights on it too. So it's got a regular light for just, helping you look. And then it has a black light. Again, black lights make bug poop and mold shine neon. So little trick. That's this. But you guys, to make sure you get our guest's name right today, that is the giveaway word for the last giveaway here. GreenzGoddess. Yes.
Oh,
Type that
thank
into
you.
chat if
You
you are
saved the
in
best for
US.
last because that's a really nice jeweler's loop.
Yeah, it is. I always do. I always save
Ooh.
this giveaway for last. So best of both worlds here. The best for last. But we got more, and this actually. I
Chad.
believe. I know. I believe this is the last one in my hand. There's one that is already pre-packed.
Nice.
But this is the last one in my hand. He only sent a couple of those. He sent a whole bunch of the purple meds, which have been given away for a few months. Again, shout out some bitch seeds for hooking up the show and for hooking all you guys up. I saw Ty in the chat earlier. Ty is growing them. He's growing the purple meds already. I know Mr. Magpie. He's another FCP alumni. He finished a run not too long ago of the purple meds. So
Nice.
it looks pretty good. But yeah, this one. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I held one back for myself of this Panama Red times Ty. I'm like, dude, is it okay if I keep one? He's like,
Yeah, you
yes,
should.
of course. Dude, those are some things. So have you grown any of these like crazy sativas that take like 16 weeks to flower and get like 16 feet tall? Like,
Dude,
how does the
Mr.
hemp
Toad
grow?
Haze for Days.
Oh,
He was doing a
yeah.
giveaway on his Haze for Days, and I won one of his giveaways a long time ago, years ago. I grew this outdoors, and it would not stop growing. And at the time, I had a secret little hideaway space with a rooftop, and it was going on the rooftop, bending over. I'm trying to like use
Oh,
a
wow.
net to like pull it back, and it would not stop growing. It never stopped growing. It started snowing out here. And that thing was like not at all ready. After a while, I was just getting so tired of it. I said, I'm not doing this ever again. Because to me,
Haze
that's
for
too long, and I don't have that long
days.
of a season. Haze for days. He meant it. It never stops.
Yeah, again, season, man, that's so important. And it's usually the equatorial stuff that it's 12-12 year round. It's warm. You're not worried about it. That's where a lot of this stuff really wants to grow, and that's where it comes from.
I couldn't do that out here because of the snow. It gets way too cold. It's not worth it for me. I got to get something that finishes early.
Yeah, that's something that I select for, and that actually makes my decision on seeds I acquire and what gets planted next and what I'm working with is how fast do you finish? What is your time? But I know I'm missing out.
Gotta try autos.
Yeah. I've grown maybe 3.
Okay,
maybe
the thing
3.
about
I've grown
autos,
less than 5.
You can't transplant them, and you can't top them unless you purposefully topping them to get them to stop growing. But you can't transplant them the way you normally would transplant a normal cannabis plant.
Now, because a lot of times I'll hear that if the roots get to the bottom, well, that'll kind of initiate flowering or any kind of like root stress. What if because there's been times where I've transplanted where the roots really aren't pushing on the walls. A lot of dirt usually falls off, or oh my God, I said dirt. I mean soil. A lot of soil falls off.
Ouch! My feelings.
Oh, dude. When I went to the sustainable ag school, our soil sciences teacher, I think I called it dirt 4 times in a row on the first day. Never to make that mistake again. Like you could see him like each time progressively like twitching. Then by the 4th time, he's like, okay, it's not dirt, guys. Dirt is this. Soil is this. We are talking soil. I am a soil science major. This is my life. And I was like, major. Soil it is. Okay. Yeah. But
They
I
could,
forgot
they
where I
could
was going.
touch the bottom of the cup. I have cut out the bottom of the cup and then put the whole entire thing on the bed.
I like
And
that
that works.
approach.
That's always worked for me.
That is awesome. And that's again like the bottomless pot. A lot of people who are using
Yeah.
beds, they even make the grassroots fabric pots now with no bottom. So you
Yeah,
just
that's super cool.
because
That's
that helps people
exactly how you
water
would do it.
initially.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Glad I asked.
You gotta try it. If you like early finishers, there's breeders out there making amazing auto strains. Like not all of them are shitty. You might pay money, like maybe $100 for like 5 seeds, but
fine.
it's worth it.
Oh, that's so worth it. $20
Yeah.
a plant. I mean, come on, you're getting more than a 20 sack off of the plant, even
For
if you
sure.
mess up. So
Even if you
yeah,
mess up.
even if you mess up, you're getting at least an eighth off it. So yeah,
Right, exactly.
That's how I typically justify seed purchases. It's like, okay, it may have been $50 a seed, but I'm getting way more than that off of one plant. So it is what it is. Buy what you can buy. But if you like my genetics, man, my stuff, $2 a seed. So
Buy Chad's.
Yeah, $2, man. $2 a seed. Come on. All right, let's go ahead and get this giveaway done. We got 120 people, 119 people right now. Again, US only, and this is for the old school pack from Some Bitch Seeds, US Grade A, the Panama Red times the tie. Woo, upside down. There we go. Panama Red times the tie, and the Jeweler's Loop from Duke Diamond of Dominion Seed Co. So let's do this. Good luck, everybody. Again, US only, 123 of you. Let's see who it's going to be. And these are already packed up. So just hit me up on the IG. I will get the address on them and sent out to you. Up North. Congratulations. Woo-hoo! Yay. Now, with a name like Up North, it makes me think Canada. So just let me know. Let me know if you are in the US. In the chat, just type, yep, US. Cool. But either way, I've got you down here. So the Some Bitch. Yeah, congratulations. Up North. That is awesome. Some Bitch. All right. Got that down. I'll leave that up there for a couple more seconds in case they were taking a bathroom break. That's hilariously enough happened to me. Okay, there's Up North right there. He says, yo, you won, congratulations.
Yeah.
That happened to me the other day. I Untrained Astronaut, I shouted him out at the beginning of the show. I jumped in on his show just the other day, just in the chat, was having fun, and I entered one of the contests, and I had to go do something. And later someone, hits me up. He's like, hey, dude, you won the tent, but you weren't there, so they gave it away again. And I went back to the show, and I don't need a tent. I'm honestly, I have too much gear.
I've got it
right now. But like I said earlier, I'm competitive with myself. I can't have something in front of me and not just enter my name. I've entered my own drawings before and accidentally won my own drawings. Oh, that's embarrassing.
Cool, the winner is me. This is mine. I'm keeping it.
Yeah, so I'm glad I wasn't actually there, but it was funny. I did win, but I was gone. But Up North, he's in the house. He's here. So we're gonna send that to you. Just hit me up on IG. And thank you for playing. But, before we go, where can people find you? Like, what is the best place to do that? What do you have upcoming? Is there anybody you want to shout out? Like, I am turning the floor over to you.
Hi. Thank you, Mr. Westport.
Yes.
I guess you could find me on Instagram at GreenzGoddess. Or I'm also doing Living Euphoric on Instagram. So that's living_euphoric. And we have like a monthly giveaway on there. So once a month, I'm always giving away like a half ounce of some flour. I always throw extra in the bag. But for the giveaway, I just say it's a half ounce. Right. And then there's the YouTube channel that I'm doing. If you're ever in Colorado, I am trying to go to more of these meetups. Mainly, I really prefer like a grow me meetup with like a bunch of growers. You know what I mean? Those are more my people. But sometimes there's just like, the smoke weed kind of meetups, and those are always fun too. what's coming up? I just working on my hemp farm right now. I did, because we had just taken the trip to Hawaii. I talked to some of the stores out there, because Hawaii doesn't sell recreationally. They are allowed to sell hemp joints only. Like, you can't sell loose hemp flower right now, but you can do
Okay.
joints. So I reached out to a bunch of stores to ask them if I could send them some samples of my stuff to see if that's something that they wanted to sell. And a lot of them are super interested in it. So that's something I'm working on right now, is hemp joints. And then another idea that I had, well, a friend gave me this idea a long time ago. I didn't really act on it though, but because the rules in Hawaii are a little bit differently, I was thinking about seeing, sending them a sample and seeing if they could sell like tea bags. So it'll be
Okay.
in my usual bag, and these are like groove bags, so they seal in the terpenes, the
Oh, yeah.
moisture, everything. Everybody loves these groove bags. They're perfect. So it would be like one of those bags, but with a whole bunch of tea bags inside, and the tea is just hemp tea. So I wonder if they might be able to get away with selling that if it's in a tea bag
That'd
meant
be
for
interesting.
tea. Yeah.
I wonder. I know plant material going to and from the islands in the like legal capacity is pretty regulated, just because
Yeah.
invasive type species. And
Yeah.
as wild as that sounds when we're talking about tea, a lot of things, plant derivative or plant material gets classified just all the same. So sometimes it's just,
They won't let you take it out either. I got a cutie. I got my bag stopped when I was leaving Hawaii, and I was freaking out. I'm like, man, I do not have any weed on me.
right? You're like, I got
Why?
nothing.
Yeah. He goes, do you have a cutie in your backpack? And I'm like, yeah. You can't bring that cutie on the airplane. I'm like, oh man.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
no food, I guess. No food. Not even a teeny tiny little orange. No food on the airplane. So you're right. We'll see how it goes. I think maybe that's why they were only allowing something like a joint versus bags of loose hemp flower.
Right.
So we'll
Well,
see how that
you'll
goes.
see too. Yeah, because I'm sure there's official channels, there's official like ways of doing it that are easy, but a lot of times it's just paperwork and time. If you got the time, you can figure out the paperwork. And then once you do that, you're like, great, now I can do what I meant to do like last week.
Yeah, exactly. And I found other states that are very similar to that. Like, they allow the sales of CBD and hemp to anybody, and maybe they only have medical marijuana, or maybe they don't. But so I'm looking at these states, and I'm trying to find places that would be interested in selling my products. So that's where I'm going now for my business. Like, just I'm trying to move onward and upward, and hopefully that'll be a big success. I'm just trying to figure it out, which is kind of hard to do because I don't know anything about doing that.
Well, I think, you've got the right attitude, you've got the right drive, you know a lot of good people. So hopefully, things happen. Again, a lot of things in life take like a lucky break, as they call it. But
Yeah,
I
that's
also
what I need,
don't
one of those.
believe in necessarily like luck, because you have to be prepared for when
Yes.
that lucky break happens to take advantage of it.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of work and there's some luck, but
nobody
hopefully the
knows
two
how
will meet.
much work goes into, you know what I mean? Finally
Yeah.
being successful. They don't know all the years and all the struggles that you've went through to finally get to figure out that one thing that worked out very well.
Absolutely. So that's a great place to end it, at least this conversation today, because we'll come back and we'll do this again. Thank you so much for your time, Julie.
Thank you
had
guys
a great
for having me
time.
on.
Yeah,
Thank you
and
everyone for listening and chatting in.
Chat, you guys rock. You're always there helping each other, having fun, and enjoying our conversation. Any last words for you?
Thank you. I'm just so happy that you had me on, and it was super awesome running into you at the Dude Grows Cup. Yes. That was fucking sweet.
That was totally a highlight. And gosh, that was only 30-something days ago. So total highlight. That made my day. I love your energy. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. You guys have a good day, and party on, everybody.
Party. Westport.